New overnight, a man in Marion is in the hospital this morning after being shot right outside the Marion Library. That's where we find our Stephanie Johnson right now. Stephanie, what's the latest on this? In Iowa, and we're finding out that a lot of folks in the corridor have a pretty short fuse for Iowa's new fireworks laws. It's affecting how some police officers actually patrol the streets. For example, in Marion, private displays are supposed to stop at 10 p.m. each night, but over the weekend, Marion police answered 28 complaints about fireworks. But even with the high number of calls, no tickets were issued. Authorities say fireworks calls are actually a lower priority simply because it's hard to catch people in the act. Our Joe Huizinga explains how many communities want to revisit this explosive issue.
Petitions are circulating in Cedar Rapids and Marion.
Right now on CBS 2 this morning, an apparent terror attack in London has the city on edge yet again.
I'm Stephanie Johnson. A forest fire sends a nation into mourning. Coming up in 2 minutes, where this devastating fire took place.
And more reports of child abuse are coming in from across the state. We'll tell you the staggering number of calls DHS is getting. But first, let's take another live look. This is Interstate 380 near that Wright Brothers Boulevard, Eastern Iowa Airport exit, just by the rest area. You see emergency vehicles still on scene. They have been there for a couple hours at least now. Cedar Rapids police telling us that a small pickup rolled over and they got caught in those cable barriers there. We haven't heard about any injuries yet, but we will continue to keep you up to date as we go throughout the morning, so stick with us here on CBS 2. And welcome to CBS 2 this morning on this Monday morning, June 19th. I'm Mitch Fick. She's Rebecca Kopelman, and we talked about this at the top of the hour. Downright chilly today.
Chilly.
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it?
I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, definitely a little different when you step outside.
A reprieve that we're only going to be able to enjoy for a little bit, it sounds like.
Yeah, of course it is, summertime. Right now on CBS 2 this morning, severe storms produce funnel clouds all across the state. The damage and cleanup happening right now.
Plus, this damage is left behind after the storm. I'm in Prairieburg. I'm CBS 2 News reporter Stephanie Johnson. I'll tell you about the latest damage that I'm seeing out here next.
And the cancer-causing chemicals found at the University of Iowa. Where else they could be lurking. It's 6:30 right now. Here's a look at your commute if you're going to head out shortly. 33rd and 380. Everything moving along just fine. Traffic normal. Welcome to CBS 2 this morning. I'm Janae Ryan along with Rebecca Kopelman. Now, of course, today everyone would like it to be a calm day to kind of deal with the aftermath of yesterday, but you're kind of tracking to see if that's even possible at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we should have some dry time here, but we will likely see another round of strong storms. I did want to say Stephanie's out there in Prairieburg where we tracked a tornado that moved out of Central City and into Prairieburg last night, and the National Weather Service just let us know that they will be sending a team out. They've been busy. They've been moving their office. We told you about the weather radios being down. We told you their radar was down. So they're working on moving everything. But they did say they will be sending a team out to Prairieburg, so hopefully this afternoon by 5 or 6 o'clock we should have an idea of what exactly the rating of that tornado is, and the damage that is out there right now is actually going to help them determine the wind speeds. So we'll see from Stephanie Johnson in just a bit as to what she's seeing out there. But for now, we have a mix of sun and clouds out there. We have a few more clouds that have kind of moved in, and we will likely see some more clearing as we head through the day. Now, once we see some clearing, that's actually going to lead to additional instability and the potential that we could have another round of strong thunderstorms later on today. We're already starting off warm. We're starting off a little muggy out there. Temperatures are in the 60s. Dew points are elevated, and the moisture has been elevated since yesterday. So we do have clouds that are starting to thin out a bit more close to Waterloo and also down to the south. Showers and thunderstorms have been ongoing in Missouri this morning, and as those weaken, that'll allow for the clouds to kind of fall apart. If the clouds linger a little longer, if it just doesn't clear out in time, then this severe risk would be lower. But it looks like the greater instability is going to be in the southern half of the area. This risk is lower than yesterday, but still exists for large hail, strong winds in excess of 60 miles an hour, and possibly also an isolated tornado. Just can't be ruled out totally today. So something we do have to watch as we head through this afternoon. We'll see some clearing, perhaps some light rainfall. And if we do see a little bit of rain, if we don't get enough clearing, once again, that severe risk would be lower. But we'll see a couple of scattered showers and storms move in after about 4 o'clock this afternoon. They'll continue to move through, could be producing some heavy rain as well as the hail and winds, and those will start to wind down as we head into the later part of this evening. We'll talk more about the storms and what you can expect for this weekend in your full forecast in about 10 minutes time. Janae?
Thanks, Rebecca. 6:33 now, and hundreds of you watching last night watched the sky for tornadoes and tuned in right here to CBS 2 for our coverage throughout those storms. Right now, hundreds of neighbors, maybe even you here in eastern Iowa, are waking up to clean up a lot of damage that's out there. CBS 2 News reporter Stephanie Johnson's alive where a tornado hit in Prairieburg. It did touch down. It created a lot of damage, and you're looking at right now, Stephanie.
Yes, Janae, this is a type of damage that the storm left behind. This tree, this big tree, was snapped in half by the tornado. And just a little bit further out here in this field, there's a building. And it looks like it was a building and it was completely destroyed. You don't see anything left. There are companies out here restoring the electricity. Also, over to my right, you will see a silo. It's a grain bin that looks like it was blown to its side. Right now, there are emergency workers out there trying to address that area right now. But it's a lot of residents out here kind of surveying the damage that the storm left behind. You can see that also what's going on out here, that electric companies are out here, like I said. So right now, the cleanup is very expansive. I talked to the Linn County Sheriff Office, and they said it may take weeks or months to clean up everything that the tornado left behind here in Prairieburg. Covering the corridor in Prairieburg, Stephanie Johnson, CBS 2 News.
I believe that was Nagel Grain where Stephanie was just now. Also, some homes were damaged by that tornado there. CBS 2 News anchor Scott Sanborn spoke with a few of the residents there in Prairieburg last night who were left to clean up that damage as they wake up this morning.
What have you been able to see? What can you tell me?
I had the grandkids there, and we had them under turned the couch over in the chair. Well, we heard this big boom, and that was the trees going in the backyard. And right across the street, it took a garage, and then right next to it, it took a roof off of a mobile home. And then my granddaughter lives the next place, and it totally took the whole mobile home. It's just a pile of sticks in the backyard.
Sheila, you're her daughter. What have you been able to see?
I live right across the street from her, so I have my deck's gone, my shed's gone. My son has broken windows in his car. We have tree damage. There's no skirting left on my house. There's a lot of damage, a lot of trees down.
Anybody hurt?
No people hurt. My niece had 3 of her dogs in the trailer, and we're still looking for her dogs.
And so your family all lives pretty much together in the same area?
My son lives right next to me also, and he had his skirting off, windows broken, and roof damage, and that kind of stuff.
It must have been terrifying.
It was, but it happened so quick, and they always say it makes a roar sound. There was no sound. It was just upon us, and that was it.
Scott Sanborn there, continuing coverage now of the Iowa tornadoes. Here are some great photos snapped by you, our viewers. This one was taken just east of Wabeek. Cheryl captured this touchdown, sent it our way. Also, here's a look at the Prairieburg tornado that we've been talking about. This was looking past a soccer field at it. This one was taken by Ryan. And finally, take a look at this. This is some of the damage that those storms caused. This is a photo from John Antonelli from Anamosa. That building right there in the middle, absolutely destroyed by high winds seen there. Of course, if you can safely send us photos or videos when severe weather strikes, we would love it. We would greatly appreciate if you could upload those photos and videos to our free news app. In the menu options, just select See It, Send It. It's that easy. Earlier in the day, severe weather threatened other parts of the state. The National Weather Service confirmed a tornado near Shenandoah in southwest Iowa, also 40 minutes west of Des Moines. Here's a video of a twister near Stewart along I-80. It ripped roofs from 2 homes, but luckily didn't leave anyone hurt. The Red Cross was in that area helping those affected by the storm at the time. In Iowa City, police have now identified the taxi driver found dead early yesterday morning. Authorities say Ricky Ray Lilly was found slumped over the steering wheel of a yellow cab taxi. Right now, they're calling the death suspicious, and they are investigating it as a homicide. Lilly was found just before 4 Wednesday morning near the Alexis Park Inn on South Riverside Drive. Anyone with information is asked to call Iowa City Area Crime Stoppers at 319-358-TIPS. You can also find that number on our website, cbs2iowa.com. A new study from the University of Iowa finds that common building materials found in older schools could impact student health. The studies focus on building materials known as PCBs. Researchers identified window caulk and devices found in fluorescent lights as the primary source of PCBs. And CBS 2 News reporter Joe Huizinga explains all these findings.
The toxic chemicals known as PCBs are not an isolated problem, but researchers at the University of Iowa are worried about what they're finding in schools.
It can be a problem in any school district, particularly with schools that were built in that period of time between 1930 and 1977.
The chemicals can move out of older construction materials and into the air students are breathing.
The inhalation exposures in the school were higher than their homes or the outdoor air, even in a place that has quite a bit of environmental contamination, such as East Chicago, Indiana.
Samples used in the study have been collected at schools in Indiana and Iowa over 3 years.
We've been using samplers that are equipped with a piece of polyurethane foam that absorbs airborne PCBs.
The PCBs build up in our bodies over time, so even small exposures could have significance.
Children are vulnerable. They have a disproportionately higher uptake of these types of compounds than adults. And when you're exposed early in life, you have many, many years to develop the adverse health effects that come from these compounds.
The chemicals are known to cause higher risks of cancer, but researchers believe they could also impact learning, memory, even obesity. None of the schools sampled showed levels higher than the federal standard of 500 nanograms per cubic meter, but as they continue to learn, that level doesn't come as a comfort.
The federal standard in this case is under some discussion because we're not sure what is the protective level of PCBs that should be in the air.
Replacing window caulk and light fixtures are the easiest way to reduce PCB levels while increasing energy efficiency. But it's not a final solution.
Those are things that we would recommend as the starting point, but those won't immediately remove the PCBs because they will continue to be impregnated into the building for many years.
Joe Huizinga reporting. Researchers add they have no way to predict the amount of PCBs in a school. The only way to know the real levels is to test them. New this morning, a fireworks company operating in Cedar Rapids has been cited for selling illegally. The fire marshal's office gave notice to Bellino Fireworks, which was selling out the tent in front of the old Grander Mountain. They say the company was selling without a permit and without any inspection by the Cedar Rapids Fire Department. Now, fireworks sales was one of several pieces of legislation approved this year, and on Saturday, more bills take effect. Some of the bills that got the most coverage include changes to workers' compensation laws and protection of victims of domestic violence. Others include new standards for computer science classes, a limit to how much money can be spent on art in public buildings, and plans to get rid of the superweed you've heard about, Palmer amaranth. For more information on new bills passed this session, you can go to our website, cbs2iowa.com. It's now 6:40. Let's take a look at working on for Fox 28 Morning Live on our sister station in 20 minutes. Cedar Ridge joins us with a whiskey drink celebrating George Washington Carver. Plus, we're checking out all the cool weekend trips just a short drive away. The great events perfect for your entire family. All coming up on Fox 28 Morning Live, Eastern Iowa's only local news at 7 a.m.